along into the Sporty Show. I am Sara and international football is over. You thought I was going to do it? Not yet. Club football is back. It's time. Let's break down what's happening this weekend because, oh my, we have all been missing it so much. To help me do this, let me welcome the one, the only, KlintonCod.
Oh yes, it's the one and only KlintonCod. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really excited. We are going to be speaking a lot about all the teams who are going to be like Netflix and they will be waiting for the next season, as usual. Well, on that note, let me make introduction. Oh, what's the right English for that one? Let me introduce to you.
Oh my God. Long week here, guys.
Yeah. Let's introduce Alex. Okay, I mean, the camera is pretty much on you already, so you guys know who he is. It's Alex Ashmore.
Finally Alex. Here. The Premier League is just
I couldn't wait, to be honest, honestly.
Hours away, if you think about it in longevity terms. But this time, 2 days' time, we'll all be sat watching the Premier League again.
Just sitting on the sofa, just wasting away watching football. Cannot wait.
Honestly, sometimes I feel like, I don't know, for some reason this year, it feels like they're playing way too many international football, though. They need to chill with this international
It's been every month since September, October, November. We went 3 in a row, and I think that's why we're feeling it. But like I mentioned on yesterday's show, we do not have an international break now until March 16th.
Yep.
So let's settle in, because now it's time where things get really nitty and gritty.
Yep.
All right, let's look ahead to what's coming up on Sporty TV this weekend. On Friday, we have Independiente versus River Plate. Al Nassr and Ronaldo take on Al Qaeda. In the EFL Championship, we have Plymouth Argyle versus Watford, and the Greek Super League sees Kalithia versus Panathinaikos. The K-League sees Ulsan versus Suwon. Sydney versus Western Sydney in the A-League, as well as the EFL Championship, Coventry City versus Sheffield United. And in the Premier League, it is Arsenal taking on Nottingham Forest. The Bundesliga has Eintracht Frankfurt taking on Werder Bremen. Alex Ashmore's Malaga take on Racing. Al Khalij and Al Hilal go head-to-head back to Argentina for Huracan and Boca Juniors. In the K-League, it's Daegu versus Incheon. The Belgian League has Mechelen versus Beerschot. In the Serie A, it's a big one. It's Napoli versus Roma. And in La Liga, we have El Basque Derby. Excuse me, I almost had it there. Athletic Club de Bilbao versus Real Sociedad. And finally, in the Greek Super League, we have Asterias versus PAOK. Lots and lots of football to look forward to. But here's what's coming up on today's show. Yes, there is a lot to dive into. So let's start. And Alex already brought up the Premier League, so why not go right to Arsenal and Nottingham Forest? That's going to be on Sporty TV, as I just mentioned. And this one's a big one, guys. Arsenal, we've spoken a lot about. They're not convincing. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest may be the surprise of the season so far in the Premier League. Separated by goal differential right now, 4th and 5th place in the Premier League. And Alex, who are you favoring in this one?
My head tells me to go with Arsenal. I think, you look at their form of late, it's not been good. Arteta knows that. The players that haven't been performing up to standards will be looking at themselves and thinking we should be improving on the situation. I think when you look at last season and how Arsenal were doing at this point, it still felt like, they were very much maybe the favourites, but one of the favourites to go and win the title. But when you look at them this season, they're far off the pace, and the thought of them winning the title almost feels like a distant sight. I can't even fathom, it's between Liverpool and Man City. I can't even put Arsenal in that picture at the moment. But, maybe give them a few wins under their belt. They could get back into that picture, but they're facing Forest, and Forest are on some good form.
Absolutely. Chris Wood with 8 goals. I think if there wasn't a man called Erling Haaland, we might be talking about him a little bit more. But Clinton, right now, this is Arsenal's injury list. Now, some of these players may be able to return for Saturday's match, but Sterling, Rice, Trossard, Tomiyasu, White, Saka, Calafiori, and Tierney. Now, Saka, Calafiori, Tomiyasu, Rice, and Sterling could play. But they're really depleted right now. And we saw how they were playing without Martin Odegaard, who has returned, thankfully, for the Gunners. But this isn't good news for Mikel Arteta.
Well, the truth is, if I want to look at what Arsenal has compared to the team they are playing next, which is Nottingham Forest, who, according to Alex, I mean, it's not just according to Alex, this is real life, they are currently on form. I mean, I believe these are Nottingham Forest. Any team would be scared of playing them because the question now is, are they just very good or are they just very lucky this season? I don't know which one it is. Like, are they facing teams who are not exceptionally equipped to? Because I mean,
Well,
last
they beat
season,
Liverpool at Anfield.
no, I know. I mean, to be honest, that was almost like the first shock,
Yeah.
right? Where we're like, hang on, wait. Liverpool, they've been on this whole run where they've been beating nearly every team and they've been beating them convincingly, right? And all of a sudden, you face Nottingham Forest in your own home. I'm talking about Anfield. And Nottingham Forest would come there. Like Nottingham Forest, that at some point, right, I would put up 9 men from my hood and we would beat Nottingham Forest. Now, these guys are in top 4. Literally in the Premier League. So it's quite scary. Now, what's going to happen? Now, the list you've just mentioned, fact is, if we have 50% of them on the pitch, I don't see Nottingham Forest doing it. See, right now, Arsenal, they're also a very good team. We can't take it away. And judging how the season has been going so far, I think this is not going to be a game where they'll be wanting to joke. You know, they would really want to show everyone why this is Arsenal. Because fact is, they're supposed to be title contenders, right? So, yes, I understand maybe Arsenal might not be on that list of the teams that we would hope would take the title, Manchester City, Liverpool. But there's still time, though. I mean, the season is still... We're not even done with the first half of the season, right? So anything will still happen.
Yeah.
But Nottingham Forest beating Arsenal.
Could be. Alex, they're at home, though, Arsenal. They're at Emirates, and they're unbeaten at Emirates this season so far. But that being said, out of the last 7 matches that Arsenal have played, they only have 2 wins across all competitions. That's something that Mikel Arteta needs to turn around because I think Arsenal's biggest issue, yes, they've been faced with injuries, but what team hasn't at this point? Yes, you could argue maybe some of these suspensions that they've had, these red cards, I'll give them that. But still, they're not performing. 2 out of 7 is not good. In fact, it's really bad.
It is. It's not the form that you need to be pushing for a title. And just in the league, they've got 1 win from the last 5 games. And it's been not so much the fact that they're losing. I think Arsenal fans could probably handle that. It's the fact that the manner in which they're losing. Yeah. It's especially, I look at the game against Inter Milan and how they could have scored a few goals against Inter Milan. Yes, they defended really well, the Italians, but I think the manner in which Arsenal were attacking, I think they put in somewhere near 46 crosses, which is the second most they've ever done under Arteta. And it just felt like there was a clear lack of ideas, and it was pass it to the next man, see what he can do. Or in this case, everyone pass it to Saka and see what he can do. So, yeah, there needs to be some sort of... They need to look at themselves tactically and think, you know, what is going wrong? Because, you know, the Arsenal of last season, they were performing really well. They were going toe-to-toe with Manchester City, the best Premier League team of this era. And now, you know, they can't even get a look in, and we're saying they could be losing to Nottingham Forest. With all due respect to Nottingham Forest, Arsenal should be beating Nottingham Forest.
I completely agree. Sorry, just looking at this Premier League table here. Arsenal are in 4th, but as I mentioned, they're tied for points with Forest and with Brighton. And then you look at Fulham, Newcastle, and Villa, all just a point behind them. So even though they're 4th, this weekend could change everything. There's not much separating, you know, 9th to 4th, basically. 9th to 3rd, even.
I mean, 3rd to 11th.
Yeah, exactly.
Brentford are 3 points behind Chelsea.
It's just...
That's crazy. I mean, but then again, isn't this what we want in football?
This is why we love football.
I mean, see, we've gone... I've always prayed for this kind of stuff in leagues, not just in Premier League, even in La Liga. Like, you know, gone at the times where we want to be seeing teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid have, you know, been like 20 or 15 points away from, say, the ones who are on the 4th or 3rd position. Right now, it's like you slip up, somebody takes your position, and then you mistakenly have a draw, somebody comes to replace you. Like, everybody now is you just have to be serious. Do you see? So that's why, that's what I love about the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, right now, but Liverpool are 5 points clear of Manchester City. And then...
But that's also a good thing, though, because the truth is we all know Manchester City, right? Whether we like it or not.
Okay, wait, let's talk about Man City right now. Let me just get a score prediction for Arsenal and Nottingham Forest from you two.
1-0.
You see, that one, right, I want to hear from, because it's a very tricky one, right?
Yeah.
On paper, you would say Arsenal. But then again, by the league table, you cannot be saying Arsenal easily. You should be saying more like a draw, right? But the thing is, I'm not seeing a draw in that game. I'm seeing it 2-1, but I'm trying to hear clearly.
I'm hearing 2-1. Do you want?
Yeah, I mean,
do you want
I'm
me
hearing
to hear
2-1.
who I'm giving it to?
Who are you giving it to?
I think it has to be Arsenal. I think the pressure is on Arsenal here.
Yeah.
They haven't lost at home. International break is done. They got to come back with a bang of a result, and I think they'll get it done. Will it be convincing is the question. I can't tell you that.
Forest also haven't lost away from home.
Yeah.
So,
but I think this is maybe where we might start seeing if Forest can keep up this run, and Arsenal need to win. Like they absolutely need to now, because if they lose and let's say Brighton get a result, Newcastle get a result, it really could start. This whole table could really start flipping. I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal.
I think I would go with a draw.
You're going to go change it right back around.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so you guys have both gone for the draw.
And my draw, I'm going. Oh yeah, you went 1-0 as well.
yeah.
You can go for 1-1 as
Damn.
well. It's fine.
You
It's
just
fine.
copy
No.
the expert.
Go. You see, listen. This is the reason
what
why.
you did.
No,
Look
this
what
is
you
the reason
did.
why I
Look
think
what
I'm going to
you
go
did.
with my 2-1.
Okay.
For who?
The reason I'm saying I'm going with 2-1 now is so when they draw, we'll take this part of the video where I said 1-1, and then if they go 2-1, right? I'll go
You're covering all bases.
It's 2-1 to who?
2-1 to. Hang on, wait. Let me give you guys my score. Hang on, let's do it this way. All right? The Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest is going to be a draw, and it's going to be 1-1. All right, hold on, let's cut. All right. Right, my scoreline prediction for Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest is 2-1 to Arsenal. All right, cut that one. Let me do the other one. Right, hold on. And this is my scoreline for Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest is going to be 2-1 to Nottingham Forest. All right, let's continue with the show.
All right. Okay. Let's move along to Manchester City because Pep Guardiola and co have lost 4 matches in a row across all competitions. And now they are taking on Spurs, whom they lost to only a few weeks ago in the Carabao Cup. They then lost to Sporting, Bournemouth, and Brighton. Now, Alex, the question becomes, do we still doubt that City are not going to win the Premier League?
I mean, I don't doubt that they're going to be in the run-in until the...
No. Are they going to win? I don't want to hear top 4 running. Are you doubting that they're going to win with this 4 losses in a row?
Not because of this 4 losses. I'm doubting because of how good Liverpool are. I think that's the doubt. I think these 4 losses, it's just a blip. You know, some people might call it a crisis. You know, you look at 1-2 results later and they've beaten Spurs and they've got a good result in the Champions League. We'll be forgetting about these 4 games. But it is a problem for Man City. I think when you look at their recent results against Spurs in their last 6 league meetings, they've only won 2 of them. They've drawn 1, Spurs have won 3. But on the other hand, Spurs away from, they're pretty shocking. They're sitting about 17th in the away table. And I think that is the case that will go in Pep Guardiola's favour, is the fact that Ange Postecoglou's side, they're so inconsistent. One week you get the best
1 week they
Spurs
beat
you've ever
City.
seen, and the next week you see them struggling to put a string of passes together. So I think Man City will right their wrongs this weekend against Spurs. It will be a tough game, but I can see nothing else than a Man City win.
Clinton, KDB is back in training for Man City this week.
Yep.
How important is that, especially knowing that Rodri is obviously out for the season? If KDB is playing in this match, are you behind City?
Well, I mean, if KDB is playing factors, I understand that KDB and Rodri are literally the backbone of Manchester City. However, I think Manchester City still kind of looks solid if you have one of them. Now, if KDB is coming to start that game, you know me, I would always give it to Manchester City. Take away KDB.
Let's say he comes off the bench because he has been injured for a while. I wouldn't expect him to start.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect him to start, obviously, if he's coming from injury. But the truth is, usually when you don't have the both of them, we've seen that Manchester City, they tend to they struggle a lot, right? And if he's not going to start, I see a situation where Manchester, they are losing the game and they're bringing KDB to come do some magic, right? At that point, you're not bringing him to win. You're bringing him to try to win. And sometimes it probably might give you a draw. But what Manchester City need right now, if I was Pep Guardiola, I don't think I want to be, if he's fit enough to play, I don't think I'll be risking him not starting the game. Because at this point, you need one of them. And if one of them is available to start the game, you need a controller, of which this is what they had with these 2 players. You need him to start, and you want to be sure that this game you're definitely winning it.
I also think it's crucial for them to come out of the international break after their 4 losses with a win, because I think the idea is, okay, let's forget about that. International break has happened. Let's get people to focus on now, and they need a win. Not to mention that they lost to Spurs not too long ago, like I mentioned. So I think this is a bit of like a revenge match, and Pep is going to be all guns blazing.
I think so, but also this is often the case when two teams play each other so close to and in different competitions. Quite often you get the result going completely the other way. You saw Newcastle beat Chelsea after Chelsea got the win over Newcastle in the league. So I think also the international break would have been a big help for Pep Guardiola, give him time to think, give him time to reassess what he's going to do. And I think in a way this is probably the worst thing that can happen to teams like Liverpool and Arsenal and Chelsea. Man City now will be so motivated to come back, and after these 4 losses, they know that they can't afford to drop 1% of their performance. So, yeah, I think this is a dangerous time to face Man City, and especially, like you said, with KDB coming back, it's going to be, they're going to...
Not to mention Holland scored during international break as well.
Again,
exactly.
But then again, I feel, in as much as we are spending time speaking about how good Manchester could be, with obviously KDB coming back at some point. Now, let's also remember how good Tottenham can also be too, because these guys, you know, they have quality players as well. It's just that sometimes they play and it feels like they're not really having that click. But if they decide to say, okay, we know what we're doing, we're able to, I mean, they have one of the best forwards in the Premier League. If you want to have it, I don't know if Son is playing. Is Son fit? I mean, he should be, right? I feel like right now, if you have Son and you have this other young guy, Brennan Johnson, you know, whom at some point I wasn't really a very huge fan of, but recently
a lot of people weren't.
No, trust me, I was hardly a fan of him, but recently he's been doing really, really well with Tottenham, and I see the coach using him even more often. You know, if they decide to really come down to play like Tottenham, that I've seen a few times, Manchester City, they will still go through a hard time.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, they're coming into this game with all these losses that they've accumulated, both from Champions League, you know, the Premier League. There's definitely going to be this pressure of we need to win this game. And sometimes this pressure does go against these players too, because it's almost like, that process of you trying to make sure that you are, you know, putting this game to your pockets, that is when you're probably losing it too. And boom, before you know it, that's probably a 5th loss for Manchester City. So I don't think it's going to be an easy one either. But if KDB is definitely starting it, I still trust Manchester City to be copying a win on that one.
Yeah. Well, Tottenham obviously are without Bentancur, who is facing a 7-match suspension. And we know that Mickey Van de Ven picked up an injury just before the international break, which is a massive loss to Spurs. But Alex, when we think about Spurs, you talked about the inconsistency. They go and beat City, they beat Aston Villa, and then they lose to Ipswich. Like, it's the most, it's the epitome of what being Spursy is, right? But they're 10th right now in the Prem. If this team doesn't turn it around and play some more convincing football and, you know, lock in a European position, do you think that this season will be the end of Ange?
I think so. I think when you look at Spurs, going back to the beginning when he was appointed, I think it was an exciting, refreshing new appointment. You know, he'd just come from a very successful period at Celtic. However, looking at the Scottish Premiership, there is only 2 teams that compete for the title every year. So I think coming forward a few years, I think what Ange has realised, or what he should be realising, and what Spurs fans are realising, and what football fans are realising, is you have to have a plan B. If you go into a game with just plan A and that doesn't work, you can't just stick to it until it works. These teams, they work you out. You're not playing the likes of Hearts and Hibs and, you know, Hamilton Academicals every week. You're playing Man City, you're playing Chelsea, you're playing Arsenal, you're playing Forest, you're playing teams, you know, the Premier League is the best league in the world for a reason. You're playing the best teams in the world week in, week out. You can't just have one plan. And I think that is something that Ange has been found out for, and that's perhaps why Spurs have been so inconsistent, because against some teams it works really well, and against other teams they get found out really easily. Look at the Chelsea game. They were down to 9 men last season, and they're still playing a high line, and they lost 4 or 5-0. I think it was 4-1. It begs the question of, you know, if Spurs fans see it and we see it, why isn't Ange looking at it and thinking this needs to change? I
will give him the benefit of the doubt last season, because if you remember the season beforehand, Spurs were nearly impossible to watch. The football was at such a low level. It was boring. It was uninspiring. Ange came in and then gave them that push they needed and the confidence. So yeah, I remember that match against Chelsea. They went down, but he was still playing a high line because he said, "Well, we're going to leave it out on the pitch." So it was condemnable.
Excusable.
It was admirable.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's go all the way around. But do you know what I mean? Like, I appreciated it more because I was able to watch Spurs games again and be like, they're playing well. This is a good side. But now it seems like, you know, that fire is kind of burned out. And yeah, Ange doesn't know what to do. My question to you guys is, we're heading into match day 12. At the beginning of the season, I asked you who was going to win the Premier League, and both of you said Manchester City. Today, we're still very early.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, who is winning the Premier? Is Manchester City still winning the Premier League today? Your answer today.
I mean, according to the league table, definitely Liverpool.
So now you're saying Liverpool is going to win.
I mean, you said today, right?
Yeah, but you could still say City because you think, you know, in a couple weeks' time, Liverpool are going to dip.
Okay. So,
I'm just asking you. So you said Liverpool.
No, so if we rephrase the question then, who do you think, as
Here
of
we go.
today, oh, hang on.
Did you
hang
understand
on.
the
The question should be,
I
no,
understood it.
I understand the question, but wait. Guys, listen now, all these English people, see, an African man is teaching English people how to construct English.
No,
Listen.
I don't think that's
Listen.
what's happening.
No, that's what's happened. You said, as of today, who wins the Premier League? And I'm telling you, Liverpool wins it because they are top of the table, right? But I'm saying the question might probably be, as of today, based on performance, right? Between now and when who do you think would win it between now and when it finishes? Then I'll tell you what I would project, okay? All right.
Okay, so sorry for wasting about a minute of your time there because we all knew what we were talking about. So is it, what's your answer?
I think I'm giving it to Liverpool.
Liverpool. Alex?
I'm going to stick with my guns for another couple of months and say Manchester City.
Okay.
You just have
I
too
like-
much pride, man. Listen, fact is...
He's not a City fan.
No, I know, but I don't know why. Truth is, yeah, I still believe in Manchester City to an extent, but I'm looking at just the performance of, you know, Manchester City, Liverpool, and for me, the consistency is more. Even if there was injury with Liverpool, yeah, I still see them still. You know, they still have some stuff to play around with, and I'm talking about quality players. It's not like Manchester City where if there's no Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne, it's like there's no Manchester City anymore. That's not how Liverpool has been built. Do you see? So that's why in my head I'm like, okay, what if Kevin De Bruyne comes back? And just like every other player that's, you know, injury has been messing up, what if on that same game he goes off on another 3 months injury? Who knows? So at that point, do you say Manchester City does have hope of winning? Definitely not. Why? Because their men are not there.
I also, just realized that Alex and I actually said that Arsenal were going to win the Premier League. You didn't have City. You both had City for the
I
Champions
definitely have City,
League.
yeah. I
But you
did
both
have
had
City.
City for the Champions League.
Okay, yeah, well, I'm changing my answer to Man City. Arsenal
Yeah.
are not winning the Premier League.
I'll go for
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Arsenal, no way.
I have Liverpool. That was my pick for the Champions League, but I'll go double Liverpool. We'll just keep it so all of our answers can stay different. Also, for those of you watching on our YouTube, please answer those polls, and we'll go back and read what you think the results are going to be of the weekend. So, as it stands, you guys have gone for 46% think Arsenal are going to win against Nottingham Forest, with 38% of you thinking a draw. So it's going to be close. Not many of you think Forest will get the full win.
But I pray for Forest to win, though.
I'm sure we all do, just for the
You
chaos.
predicted everything.
Yeah, I predicted
So you
everything.
predicted the game to be cancelled and called off.
Oh, all right, let's talk about ClintonCod's #1 team, his
Yeah.
only team.
I'm happy. No, #1 team. That's a very good one.
Manchester United in action with new manager Rúben Amorim, and they are taking on Ipswich. Clinton, new manager bounce? You think it's going to happen?
I mean, we've already had the new manager bounce already. Now, what I see happening with this one is, and I want people to not blame, our first game, definitely we are winning it, even without a coach, okay? This is Ipswich we are going to be facing.
So, yes, you know, I think the new manager bounce will be enough, and I think the players that they have, they should get the job done over Ipswich. But I feel like a win over Ipswich
Isn't something-
it's not. You know, Ipswich will be fighting for their lives. They're sitting just above the relegation zone, but just because he wins against Ipswich doesn't mean everything's, you know, solved. I think there's still a long road ahead for Manchester United, and he'll know that, the club will know that, the players will know that, and it'd be interesting to see who he picks. I'd be interested to see who you guys think, because there's obviously been a lot of, you know, criticism towards Ten Hag for, you know, the way they play and how they churn out results, if they do. Amorim's known for playing a back three. Obviously, Lenny Yoro is back to full fitness, but he's not, he could start, he might not start. Obviously, they don't want to risk him too early. But then you've got the wing-backs, Mazwari, Malathia, who's not really been featuring much this season. Could he come back? And then, it's the case of who do you put up top? Do you play Bruno Fernandes? Do you play Garnacho? Do you play Amad Diallo?
Do we have your 11?
We do, somewhere.
Let's see. Alex made an 11 for Amorim's potential first match for Manchester United. If we can pull that up, that would be brilliant. All right, Alex, break it down for us.
So I've gone for Onana in goal. I think that's fairly obvious. Back three, assuming Lenny Yoro starts, Lisandro Martinez and De Ligt. Midfield two of Kobbie Mainoo and Ugarte. Wing-backs of Mazwari and Tyrell Malacia. And then Garnacho and Diallo are sort of wide attacking midfielders. So, not necessarily right behind the striker. And then Rasmus Højlund up front. So I think, this isn't necessarily who I would start if I was in his shoes. I think who he'll start. There's obviously a few options. You could say that if Lenny Yoro doesn't start, he might have to start someone like Johnny Evans or Diego Dalot as a centre-back. And then, he could move Mazwari over to the left wing-back position and start Amad Diallo as a right wing-back. So plenty of options, but this is what I think he'll go for on the weekend.
Mr. Manchester United, tell me how you feel.
I mean, first of all, I'm just looking at the fact that you have Malacia somewhere. I feel like that guy's been in a pit, and boom, all of a sudden he's...
Well, he's been training. He's been a major feature in training.
No, I mean, there's a difference between major feature in training and major feature on the pitch. These are two different things. I mean, we've seen situations where you've had people train every single day, and I mean, they don't end up featuring on any game or even starting. They're probably just bringing them in for like, say, 2-3 minutes before the game ends. But yeah, I mean, it's just Malacia and the fact that I don't see Dalot anywhere. I think that is where I kind of...
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. We had the producer scream it in my ear as I was thinking it. Where's Bruno Fernandes?
Oh, yeah, that's the next one I was literally just going to mention. Exactly.
I actually just had to go through because he was injured. If I somehow missed...
Because the funny thing is, just the same way we speak about having Kevin De Bruyne and these people for Manchester City, I feel like Bruno Fernandes, first of all, he's the owner of, like, he is Mr. Manchester United. Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like he's the most matured, most experienced, most, people are beginning to say, he complains too much to the ref. Like, and that's something I don't like about Bruno. Then again, players are different. Just the same way I complain about Vinicius Junior of how he goes to, talk. It doesn't complain to the ref. It's just to his opponents. I feel like Bruno Fernandes, him is that kind of person, but to the ref. And take away that one, Bruno Fernandes, we know he's a world-class midfielder. Like, No,
I'm not getting away from that. I'm just saying this is a potential lineup that he could go with this weekend. There's no doubt that, Diego Dalot could play instead of Lenny Yoro. Bruno Fernandes could start instead of Amad Diallo.
You don't think the Portuguese manager is going to start the Portuguese superstar?
I just think this is a possible lineup that he could go with. And I think, yes, Bruno Fernandes has been probably the one shining light for Manchester United over the last couple of years. But
you just made a statement now. If you were to put Bruno Fernandes somewhere, who are you taking? Who are you going to take off?
I think you'd have to take out Amad Diallo. I think you can't drop Garnacho at this point.
Hang on. If you take, where would Bruno Fernandes, how would you rearrange this in that case?
Just like-for-like swap. Bruno Fernandes.
On the right wing?
Because Garnacho and Diallo, I said, they're not wide midfielders. They're more like 10s, but they're not, right behind the striker.
Hey, I think, okay, wait, let me try. Wait, let me try, and then you tell me.
Whatever weed, whatever Igbo that Alex smoked, right?
No, wait,
Alex,
let me
after this show, please, you need to point me to your connect. But
here's what we're going to do. We're going to take Malacia out. We're going to shift Kobbie Mainoo and then put Bruno
Fernandes somewhere there.
But forget, Malacia and Mazwari are wing-backs. They're not part of the midfield.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I would switch the whole position up then.
No, but for me, there's no way Diallo and Bruno Fernandes are
that's what I think. I think if you're cutting someone from this, you have to cut Malacia and you have to change the lineup. Change the formation. I can't see Bruno Fernandes is starting this game. There's no way.
I mean, it's not possible.
It's not possible.
Like, this is Bruno Fernandes. I mean, and this is Diallo. Like, if there's anybody who's a shining light from Manchester United right now, like, listen, to me, do you know who the best player at Manchester United for me is Diallo? You guys can tell me from the bottom of your hearts who. Yeah, I understand you're a Chelsea fan, but when you look at that Manchester United squad, who do you think is the most performing player for Manchester United as we speak?
This season?
I mean, yes, this season. Somebody who has utilized the time that has been given to him to perform on the pitch. Who would you choose for Manchester United?
I think Kobbie Mainoo.
I mean, this season, I'm not even going to count in Kobe Mainoo, funny enough. Like, I feel like Kobe Mainoo was probably last season stroke the Euros, right? But this season, I've not seen. Garnacho this season has not even done it for me either. Like, I was telling you that Garnacho even needs to leave a girl that he's been sleeping with because something, and then, he scored one goal on the last game. But then again, who were they playing? Like, I mean, I'm not... When you're on a bad form, it doesn't mean that every single game is your own spiritual problem has to be on a crazy level for you to mess up, let's say, a whole 8 games in a row. But Garnacho, he's had maybe 1 or 2 good games, but he's not really been the Garnacho that I have known all this while since being in Manchester. Like, since I've seen him, especially from his debuts, the first game Garnacho gave us, like I said on this show before, I felt like this was a reincarnation of Cristiano Ronaldo in Manchester United. But he told me he didn't live up to that standard. Do you see? So, is it what's it called? Garnacho, Marcus Rashford, all of these guys. No one has really impressed me apart from Amad Diallo. Let's see. I mean, we'll hear from our guys on social media. Like, let me know if you're a Manchester United fan, who you think has been the most expressive, or will I say the most better player this season for Manchester United. I really, really want to know. For me, I feel like it's definitely Amad Diallo.
Just really quickly, guys, I know some of you are complaining about our sound on our mics. We are working on it, so we will get that fixed. I think it has to be Diallo or probably Fernandez. I think it's one of the two.
I mean, Fernandez either have not really shown me the Fernandez we've known. I feel like
Fair, but I think that's what that says about the rest of the team.
Yeah, no, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course, but the thing is, this is my problem with Fernandez this season. Yeah, there are some kind of game you watch, and you'll be like, okay, what the problem here is it's not you at this point. It's the connection between yourself and the rest of the players on the pitch. Yeah, them being able to understand when to make runs is almost like what they do in training. It's like you will see them now. Yeah. If you as a player, you feel, say your teammates are letting you down, it just means that you are probably going to have less of the kind of performance that you. So at that point, you can blame it on the team. But with this Bruno Fernandes, I'm saying that the level of play this season I've seen from him is like, okay,
it's not what we're used to.
It's not who he used to be. Like, there are some chances you would think that Bruno Fernandes of before would either hit it on target or even score. Yeah. Now it's like Bruno Fernandes would literally shoot it to go hit somebody who he has beef with a girlfriend, and it's making sure the ball is going to hit the lady. Understand? Like, this is who Bruno. Like, there's just something that's not really Fernandes in this season. Right? But Amad Diallo is the guy that never fails.
Top baller.
Literally, I'm telling you that this guy, when you see how small he is.
And the way he carries the ball. I feel like he doesn't trust the other teammates because he's like, I'm just going to go up the wing and take myself.
Do you know one team in Spain that if he goes to, he's going to shine? Okay, wait, let me give it to Alex. Alex, which team in the La Liga do you think Amad Diallo would go to and he would shine?
I think he would do well at Barcelona.
Facts, ended there. That's literally where. There's no any other place I see him go. Like, I feel like his kind of play, you would think he's been groomed in Barcelona.
I think he'd do well at Atletico Madrid as well.
I mean, I'm not too sure about Atletico Madrid, but definitely Barcelona for me.
No, I think if his pace, his energy, his youthfulness, I think whenever I see him, yes, he may not always be the best player on the ball, but I think when you look at what he provides to that team, he scares defences. When he's running at you as a defender, you're going to be worried that he's going to take you on, he's going to go past you. He's causing threats to defences. So I think, United have to use him more because, him and Garnacho, having both of those players on the left and the right, it's a formidable duo.
And that's the reason why sometimes I feel so upset with the fact that you don't have that Marcus Rashford we used to know before. Because I could imagine, I understand that Marcus Rashford is more of a left winger, yeah? But have you ever imagined Marcus Rashford being able to come back, right, and playing that number 9 position? I understand, number 9s are usually the ones who would just wait for the ball, right? Just the same way you have with, Mbappe is not been proven to be that guy for Real Madrid. But I could imagine Garnacho being, Marcus Rashford being there, Garnacho on the left, Amad Diallo on the right, and then you have Bruno Fernandes and these other guys. I think Manchester United will be unbeatable, but then again, you can't really. Højlund is one person I'm not very, very huge fan. I'm not a very huge fan of Højlund.
The thing is, who do you start instead of Højlund?
But that's the thing. I can't start
Xerxes at this point.
No, definitely not. I think no. Right now, we need to dash a good club in Premier League as a Christmas present. Say we give you what's it called, Zexi, and say you guys should just hold him for now. Because to me, he's not. Zexi. He came in the first game and he was doing one two tap, and we're like, oh bro, this guy is a baller. Now we are beginning to learn our lessons. That before you are able to say this person is good, let's give him a couple of weeks or a couple of months into the game, and let's see if he's still going to maintain that one. Like, he's not really lived up to any level of what we thought he was going to be for Manchester United.
Well, for Mr. Amorim, they're taking on Ipswich this weekend, and then they have Bodo Glimt in the Europa League, followed by Everton. But after that, Manchester United will play Arsenal, Forest, Victoria Pilsen in the Europa League, Man City, and then Spurs. So maybe a little nice, easy introduction for Amorim, but it's going to get tough, and it's going to get tough quick.
Amorim is quite lucky, though. No, I feel like for your first game, having Ipswich. Nah, my man should thank God, man.
Ipswich beats Manchester United now. Let me just say, Monday.
Wow.
We won't
Monday, I'm not going to be on the show.
Yeah, pull a Gary.
Connection issues.
Connection issues.
All right, score prediction, Alex.
2-1 to Manchester United.
Okay.
I'm definitely going 4-1 for this one.
To
Manchester United.
say another result just in case.
No, this one, I'm 100% sure about this one. This one, there's no going. This is 4-1 for me.
No.
2 goals is coming first half.
From who?
I actually see Garnacho scoring. That
Yeah.
one. And I see. God, speak for yourself and hear it. We're having mic issues. You said it. So,
Bruno Fernandes.
funny enough, I see Rasmus Højlund scoring actually for some reason, if he's going to be playing.
All right, I'm going for a United win as well. I'm not going to give you guys a score because I can't really come.
No, you have to give us a score. No, everyone gives a score here. You give us a score.
Okay, wait. I'm going for Manchester United loss. I'm going for an Ipswich win. I'm going for a Manchester United win. I'm going for a draw. I'm going to cut it all up.
Game suspended because it snows.
Yeah. No, I'm 3-1. Let's go 3-1 United. I
3-1.
think they're going to come out a little bit spicy this time and a lot to prove. New manager bounce. Has to be. 60% of you guys think that Man City will still win the Premier League, by the way. Let's see what you guys think about United when that poll wraps up. Let's move along to La Liga because we have to talk Real Madrid, staying in Madrid, playing city rivals, not Atleti, not Getafe, but not Rayo Vallecano, Leganés. And it's all about Kylian Mbappe. Guys, he did not travel to France. He was home. He was here training with Carlo Ancelotti. Clinton, I'll ask you this first, though. This is a big game for Real Madrid. I know Leganés might not be one of the top 6 clubs in La Liga, but it is still a city rivalry. And I think the biggest thing is that now that Mbappe didn't go to France, and there's a lot of pressure on him already, there's going to be a lot of pressure in general on Madrid going into this game.
Yeah.
Vinny didn't have a good international break, and it's always about these two right now because clearly it's not working. Meanwhile, Jude Bellingham had a great international break, but is he going to come back and play a different position? Give me a little bit of a breakdown of Real Madrid, Leganés. You're actually going to be at that game this weekend as well.
Yes, I'm definitely going to watch it. And fact is, I understand that this is going to be at the Leganés' home, and there's no way Madrid will not be winning it. Like, this is one of those teams where we've seen Madrid in their worst times face teams who
Second half season.
Yeah. I mean, of course. And for me, I just feel like Leganés is we are going to put them under that category of team that Real Madrid will probably have 1 or 2 issues winning, but they will still win the game, right? So they are one of those teams
Via the lead, kind of.
Via the league, exactly. Espanyol and all them kind of teams. Like, they are definitely going to win. But like you said, right, at this point, it's not the pressure on Madrid. It's pressure on the individual players.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, you just mentioned Vinicius, who has gone for international duties. And as usual, he's come back with the usual story of he always goes off for international games. Yeah, you also have Kylian Mbappe, who did not go to France. Why? Because they just said, I don't know if it was Mbappe or it was their football federation saying, no, we don't need you, right? I don't know which one it is, but whatever it is, he did not go. Right? Now, there's been stories about him in Madrid as to the fact that he's been a failure. Like, he's not lived up to the standard. Now, this team they're about to play, I would hope that they are going to use it as a show to let people understand that, listen, there's something that's, being built with this Madrid team. Ancelotti obviously knows that he has a very serious decision to make when it comes to how to use Vinicius, Kylian Mbappe, and Jude Bellingham all at the same time. Having the likes of Valverde and trying to. It's not just about winning the games. It's about playing the football that you expect from this caliber of players. Okay, that is what we are going to be looking for in the league. Definitely going to win the game. They're definitely going to. This one, there's no even argument. If Madrid does not win Leganes in Madrid. In Madrid, because this is a derby, right? It just means that, okay, at this point, it's either they are sacking both Ancelotti, his dad, and his great-grand. Like anybody that has the name Ancelotti needs to leave the city. Fact. Do you understand? So, like I said, it's not going to be, they're definitely going to win, but it's the individual performance that I want to watch out for. How the team are going to come together, how they are going to arrange themselves, how they are going to be, making these link-up plays, scoring the goals itself, not just hitting bars or, shooting out.
Yep. Alex, do you hope to see Jude Bellingham maybe play a more offensive role in this match?
Yeah, I think, we all know the qualities that he has going forward. I think we saw it last season. He was unstoppable. Real Madrid were unbelievable. We saw a glimpse of that against Osasuna. I think some of the attacking talent that was on show that day, Bellingham getting a goal, I think that will do wonders for his confidence, as well as having a brilliant international break. So, yeah, I think, things to work on for Ancelotti. He'll know what the things he has to do to improve this squad, and he'll, maybe looking at a few changes in the lineup. We'll see potentially a young Asensio starting at centre-back. Obviously, with all the injuries, Militao being out for up to 9 months, missing the rest of the season. Carvajal, Lucas Vázquez, Rodriguez back on the ball, so it's a positive for Real Madrid. But yeah, I can see nothing other than a Real Madrid win. I'm going to go 3-0.
Do you think it's going to be a confident win, though? Like Clinton said, he's very confident that they're going to win, but it's a matter of the way they do it, especially looking at those two that love to play on the left wing.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be confident. I think 3-0, nice flowing football. I'm going to go for a goal from Vinicius, Bellingham, and Mbappe.
Oh my gosh, all of
Sharing
them.
the spoils.
Yeah.
Two people I definitely know for sure definitely going to be scoring for this game is, I see Valverde scoring. I see Mbappe scoring. For some reason, I don't see Vinicius scoring this time.
I mean, he might want to come back and get back on the scoreboard after 2 games for Brazil not playing so well.
The only time I see Vinicius scoring in this game is if he's taking a penalty.
High chance of it.
Yeah, very high chance.
I will also go for a Madrid win, but I think I'll go 2-1. They like to leak a lot of goals too. I'm sure they can get scored on, but I think they'll still win this game. They need to. They need to win this game.
I mean, they have to. No, they will. They have to win the game.
Yeah, it's important. It's especially since Mbappe didn't travel. I think so. Barcelona taking on Celta de Vigo after Barcelona lost to Real Sociedad ahead of the international break. Lamine Yamal training alone, boys. It doesn't look like he is going to be playing in this one, and I'm not mad about it. Give him a rest. Get him better. It's not important. He doesn't need to play against Vigo. That's all I think about this.
Yeah, I think it'll be a tough test against Celta Vigo. We saw Real Madrid go there, and I think
hard place to play.
It is, and especially with the Galician weather. I joke about it, but the Galician weather is harsh. Having lived there for 3 months, it rains non-stop.
The wind goes through you.
It's wind. It's cold. I think Celta Vigo at home. They've done quite well this season. So, I have no doubt in Hansi Flick's ability to get the result here and Barcelona's ability to get the result here, and I agree with you. I think it'd be the right thing to rest Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, Clinton, Rafinha coming back from international duty and scoring for Brazil in the first match.
Yep.
You expect him to continue his...
I think this is his season.
This is his season. This is it.
This is what I don't think there's nothing. Listen, even if he goes to play Aliens right now, he's still going to score. Sometimes when the thing comes on you, or when you're on form, the form is almost like this is what it's going to be, right? When you're dropping, is also like when you've noticed it. When somebody's really dropping form, it's like they're just going downhill like that. Look at an example is the likes of Raheem Sterling. With Rafinha, I think this is time. They would always have their times to bounce up or go down.
Listen, in La Liga, he's played 13 matches. He's had 7 goals and 6 assists in the Spanish League. And in the Champions League, in 4 matches, he scored 5 goals and 2 assists.
That's excellent.
These numbers are impressive.
That's excellent. That's literally the kind of numbers that you would get from. I mean, this is what we would expect from the likes of Kylian Mbappe and the rest of them. But yeah, it's very good. And it's his time.
A friendly reminder that Robin Lewandowski has 14 goals in La Liga and 5 in the Champions League.
That's, I mean,
36 years old. Clinton. Too easy. All right, let's talk.
Isn't it?
I remember when I was his age.
Stop it. Let's talk a little Atletico Madrid because Alex Ashmore, you'll be at that match against Deportivo Alaves. And Atletico, another team like Arsenal maybe that we are not seeing their full potential. But the likes of Conor Gallagher and Julian Alvarez have been absolutely crucial to the side. Both of them top performers. Both of them are arguably the two best players besides Antoine Griezmann, for this side. And Lenormand is back in training, which is amazing because obviously he had a really bad hit on the head and it was concerning. But I don't know when his return date is, but he was a massive loss for them.
Yeah, great to see him back. Not just great to see him back in training, but great to see him back, on his feet doing normal day-to-day activities because those brain injuries, they're scary and they can be quite worrying and, good to see him back. And, like you said on Conor Gallagher, he's been fantastic. It's always a test when, especially English players go abroad, can they fit into a new culture, new language, new team? But no, I think they've been, Atleti have been solid this season. Conor Gallagher's been a stalwart in that midfield and, they've got the best defence in La Liga this season. They've only conceded 7 goals all season. Sometimes churning out the results becomes a little bit difficult. You saw them against Las Palmas. They had to work for the result. They've had a few blips. Obviously, lost to Betis, lost to Lille in the Champions League, but they've won their last 4. They're on good rhythm. They want to put the pressure on the top 2. So I can see nothing other than an Atleti win.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Clinton. Atletico Madrid to win this weekend?
Definitely.
All right, let's move along to the Serie A because we have some big matches here. And let's start at the San Siro with Milan welcoming Juventus. KlintonCod, Rafael Leao is your favorite guy.
I mean, he's one of my favorite players.
You love him.
And I've told you, the only reason why I love the guy is the fact that whatever he does, he's just very happy and smiling. If he's dribbling you, he's smiling. Your rough handling him, he's smiling. Like, there's just some aura that he has on the pitch.
Yeah.
That even when he's not playing to the standard that is expected of him, I just love him.
Yep.
Listen, just laugh, man.
Yep.
Life is too short. Like, just put up a smile. That's why the reason why I love women are single. Right, okay.
All right.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Guys, the Serie A is heating up. Napoli are at the top of the table with 26 points, but just behind them with one point less, Atalanta in second, Fiorentina, Inter, Lazio, and then Juve 2 points behind them. Guys, in the Serie A, from 1 to 6, it's separated by 2 points, and then we have the drop. Milan are 6 points behind Juventus, Alex. They really fell behind here. Their last match was against Cagliari, 3-3. Juve coming off a massive Torino derby, beating Torino. Obviously, that's great for them. Doing well in the Champions League as well. But we also saw AC Milan beat Real Madrid. They have it in them. They have the talent. Christian Pulisic is doing incredible for the side. But what are you feeling with this match coming this weekend, knowing it's also at the San Siro? Because what a stadium that is.
Yeah, I think... Obviously, Juventus, I've been impressed with Juventus this season. I think Thiago Motta, the way they've set up, still undefeated, but 6 draws. I think it's
boring football.
It's time to start turning those draws into wins. And AC Milan as well. They've not been consistent, like you said. They beat Real Madrid and then drawing with Cagliari. It's it's mirroring quite a few teams in Europe this season. How they go and beat someone they're not expected to beat and then lose against someone they're expected to beat. So yeah, I think. The players that AC Milan have, you look at the ability, Tammy Abraham, some of the English guys, Loftus-Cheek, Rafael Leao, we've talked about him. There are some quality players in that team, but I think as well, having the San Siro behind you is always a big help. The crowd there is magnificent. The fans will be, singing until they can sing no more. And these are the sort of derbies when you romanticise Italian football, these are the sort of derbies that you think of. And I think AC Milan, they need to win because otherwise they're getting further and further away from that top 4. And they're now 7 points away if Inter win.
They do have a game in hand.
They do. But then if they win that, that's still 4 points.
Yep.
If they lose this, the gap starts to get a little bit unmanageable. And I think a win just eases some of those nerves and puts them, 3 points behind Juventus with a game in hand.
Does Alvaro Morata go 2 for 2 scoring against his former clubs?
I mean, he's got a good record against his former clubs, especially against Real Madrid. I think No, I'm going to go 1-1. I think
1-1.
Juventus will
Classic
be.
Serie A match.
I think Thiago Motta will set up for a draw, and he'll be happy with the point to come home back to Turin with a point. So, yeah, 1-1.
Who's scoring for you? Both sides.
I'm going to go Rafael Leao. I think he's going to grab a goal. And for Juve, I'm going to go Vlahovic.
Okay, yeah, fair. Clinton, you going to back your boy, Rafael Leao? And
Definitely, 100%. I'm giving it to him already. I mean, like I said, sometimes I use my feelings to judge these things, and Leao is buried in my head, you know. And
Is that a nice way of saying you guess?
no, definitely not. No, 100%. I think that, yeah, it's going to be a tough game. Definitely, I mean, probably see a draw happening on that one too. But like Rafael Leao on the score sheet, 100%.
I think Milan have to come in and win this one, and I'm going to go with a 3-1 win to Milan. I think Christian Pulisic will get on the board. I see Tijani Reinders getting on the board. I don't know. The third one they can decide, and for Juve, I'm going Yildiz, because I don't know about Arda Güler anymore, but this is the new Turkish prince. This guy's incredible, absolutely brilliant to watch. All right. Also in the Serie A, we have Napoli and Roma. Claudio Ranieri. Alex, you were talking about him a lot. He's back in action. Talk to me a little bit about Ranieri and his legacy in football, I mean.
When I think of, I love him. He's one of my favourite managers. You know, obviously won the Premier League with Leicester. I think he's single-handedly the best achievement by a manager ever. When you look at, you know, one individual season, he's been around the block. He kept Cagliari up last season by the skin of their teeth. He retired. He got pulled back into management. And, you know, I think when you look at Roma this season, they've had some struggles. Daniele Rossi being sacked and then going through another manager. They're still off the pace. I think Napoli will be too good for Roma today, and I can see Antonio Conte's men continue on their good form with a few Brits. Scott McTominay and Billy Gilmore shining
You love
in
the
Italy.
Brits. You love it. Loftus-Cheek, Billy Gilmore. Yeah, Napoli.
Lukaku?
I mean, Antonio Conte and Lukaku seem to have a relationship that's unbreakable, and you know, it's good to see Lukaku playing regular football, because we've seen him in the Premier League and he can't quite catch a break, whether it be with Manchester United or Chelsea, and the Italian league seems to be where he thrives the most, and it's good to see him doing well.
If Osimhen decides to say, you know what, I'm making peace with my club, and
Can you imagine those two up front?
wait, one magic happens. Both of them are now in Napoli. You as a coach,
It's just
who
Kvara
do you
just sending them
start?
both in.
I mean,
Just
who do you start? Like, if you had to start one?
out of the two?
Yeah.
Both.
How
I
do we
don't care
make
if
it
I have to
work?
start one, but to be honest, right now, I think you start Lukaku and then you start.
What's your reason for starting Lukaku?
I think, well, if you're so you're saying Osimhen arrives in January, he comes back in January.
I mean, let's say he makes peace and everything is just
so
fine. But
theoretically.
they need
I
both of
think
them.
to start with, you start Lukaku, because I think, you know, he deserves to keep his spot, but I think it would be hard to not look at trying to play both of them up front.
But why would they play both of them up front? Like, how do you have two number 9s though?
You can make it work. You can make it work. They're two different players.
How would you set them up to play beside each other?
I think I would put Lukaku a little bit further deeper, because, you know, he likes the ball at his feet. He can collect the ball, turn, give it to Osimhen, who can make the runs. Osimhen's got the pace. They've both got the aerial
So
prowess.
you mean he plays like a supporting striker then?
I feel like, no, but I feel like supporting is probably the wrong word, but he drops deep and then takes the ball with him, whereas Osimhen, he runs around. His positioning is fantastic. You see he gets on the end of crosses. You know, he's like.
So do you think Osimhen has more of a number 10 quality around you know, that opposition box?
But I think it's difficult. I don't think either one I can say is better at a position in particular. I think they're both very good. But when I look at the styles of football that they play, I think Osimhen, I think Lukaku definitely prefers the ball at his feet. And I think when you see him dropping a back, he can collect the ball, play the ball to Osimhen, or they can both work together. So I definitely think it's worth giving it a go. And imagine how exciting that would be if they were banging in goals every week. Osimhen and Lukaku, I think it would be the most feared strike partnership in Europe.
No, definitely. I think it's something I would love to see, but 100% I don't see Osimhen going back to that club again.
I don't think you can. I think that decision has been made, and he is at Galatasaray trying to do his thing.
Yeah.
Adamella Lookman also in action. Atalanta, second place in the Serie A, but like I said, tied for points with all four teams in the top five teams rather. They're taking on Parma. Parma, not great. 13th. Adamela Lookman scoring this weekend. We are about 2 weeks out from the African Player of the Year.
Yep, I mean, which he is, whether we like it or not. Everybody knows he's the Ballon d'Or winner for Africa in a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, I thought Messi was the Ballon d'Or winner of Africa.
Actually, sorry, man, my bad. I mean, Lookman is more like the mini.
The mini?
the pro mini. But yeah, Lookman is literally is gold. And that's why when I see him playing for Nigeria and they keep, having Rwanda beat us, is very, like, sometimes
Still hurting.
I mean, no, honestly, like the other day I was sleeping, I woke up at 2 a.m. Like everyone was asleep. I woke up for no reason, and then I heard a voice in my head saying, "Rwanda beat the hell out of you." Like I can't.
Giving you nightmares.
No, it's giving. I can't even sleep normal sleep. Like, do you know what it means for me to wake? I'm thinking about this stuff. That hang on, who is the one popular player in Rwanda? Yeah, compared to Nigeria, where you have two crazy victors doing exceptionally well in their individual leagues, and then you have Ademola Lookman, who's going to be the African Ballon d'Or winner, right? And you have one of the best goalkeepers in. Okay, maybe the best one that wasn't on the goal for that game, but it's that whole thing of how do you have all these guys and Rwanda would win? Not just win us, they win us in Nigeria. Hey! I know I know we're not supposed to speak about
Speak
country
about
now.
it, speak about it.
No, but listen, it's just so painful. I can't think about it, It's very frustrating. I cannot believe we are supposed to be speaking about club football, but no, I've gone
You
to
still have the fear.
How can Rwanda beat us in Nigeria? Think about this thing now. It's a bit like, so me, do you know how I see it? It's a bit like Lithuania coming to beat England in a stadium like, say, the Emirates or something. Or, sorry, what's the name of the one?
Wembley.
Well, Wembley. Like, to me, that's... could you imagine Lithuania coming to beat you in Wembley?
No.
What exactly? Like, to me, this is exactly what's happened to Nigeria.
Well, it's like England losing to Iceland in the Euros. It's unheard of.
I mean, but Iceland, though. Okay, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But
it's on a similar scale of shock.
yeah, okay, yeah,
In
fair
terms
enough.
of no one expected England to lose to Iceland. I don't think anyone expected
But where did England lose that game, though?
from the beginning.
No. I mean, like, where did they play? Was it England home or?
No, it was in the Euros, so it was a neutral.
Oh, it was no. Listen, our one was in our. This was in.
yeah,
listen, this was in Nigeria, like this was in West Africa. They literally went through the shores of, went through airlines within our country, and they beat us there, and then took another plane and left. Like, Rwanda is not. If it was South Africa, all right. If it was maybe Senegal, Cameroon, like, we'll be like Egypt. Yeah, you understand? Like, we'll be like, okay, yeah, we have the best players, but this is. I'm telling you that the most famous thing, the most popular stuff in Rwanda right now, as I speak to you, is a movie they did back in the 80s before I was born, Hotel Rwanda. That's the most popular. I don't know who the name of their president is. I don't know the name of. I don't even. Anyways.
All right.
Nigeria is very annoying sometimes, man.
I found an interesting comment here, and I want Clinton, you to respond to this. Markinde, friend to the show, says Osimhen has 8 goals. They said he's in form. Kylian Mbappe has 8 goals. They said he's in crisis and out of form. You've spoken.
Hang on, let me just get the popcorn.
Sit back, relax.
Now, listen. This is very easy though. Like, I don't think there's any. It's not that complicated. Come on. First of all, look at Kylian Mbappe, right? Just the same. We're not going to compare what Osimhen is doing in Galatasaray and the issues surrounding him compared to who Mbappe is. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Whether we like it or not, forget about whatever banter we've done on this show. But fact is, Mbappe is like a global. Osimhen is a global superstar, right? But if they are putting price tags on these two individual players, fact is, Mbappe is probably going to get double of whatever it is that will be issued to Osimhen. If both of them were to go to Saudi now, how much do you think they will offer Mbappe compared to Osimhen? The truth is, everybody knows that Mbappe is somebody who, they say to whom, this is the Bible, by the way, to whom much is given, much is expected, right? They've put you in a team that's meant to be the best team in the world, yeah? That 8 goals that they've mentioned, what kind of goals were they? How many penalties were inside, right? How many of them were goals where you felt like Mbappe actually compared to Victor Osimhen? Osimhen, you will clearly see his work rate on the pitch. You will clearly see how much he's trying to win, right? Mbappe right now depends on people to win. They still struggle to win. They struggle to win. Every single time, they even give Mbappe penalties out of pity to boost his confidence. No, it's true, though. Let's be sincere with ourselves. Have you not seen Vinicius? No. Listen, guys, I know the next thing people will say now is, oh, Clinton does not like Mbappe. I love Mbappe with listen, my boys, my kids, Noah, Joshua. You don't understand? They love Kylian Mbappe. Listen, I love Kylian. I love Kylian, but I'm still maintaining the fact. I'm telling you the simple truth. That fact is, it's just not what they expect from him is not what they are getting. Maybe in the future, things might eventually change. But for now, everybody's celebrating Victor Osimhen over Kylian Mbappe, irrespective of the fact that they probably have equal amount of goals from the stats. But why are we not celebrating Mbappe? Why? Because there was a certain level of expectation that we wanted from him that we are not getting.
Markinde said Osimhen is playing among 35-year-olds.
I mean, okay. So I'm guessing that is some kind of justifiable talk for Osimhen, right?
He's bashing the Super League, basically.
Come on, man.
Alex, take away from that, comparing Osimhen and Mbappe and their goals and what Clinton said.
I mean, they're two very different players. I think when you look at the situation, Clinton's right. You know, we would perhaps...
Wait, what?
In terms of...
No, say it again.
Clinton's
I've
right.
never heard you say that.
I know, that shocked me, man. I was like, shit, wait.
Is that the first time that's ever happened?
Nah, that's the first time, man.
I'm going to have to go, guys. No, I think when you look at the expectations, I think we still expect a lot from Osimhen. I think when you look at the stats, you know, Clinton was talking about the penalties. Mbappe has 8 goals, 3 of them are penalties. I think when you look at the players he's playing around, you know, the quality that's there, I think perhaps we would have hoped for more goals. I think, you know, 8 goals in 16 games is still a decent start to the season, but we know there's more in the tank. We know he can do better. We know he can score more goals. And Osimhen, 8 goals in 9 games. I think, you know, you still have to score no matter who you're playing against. Mm-hmm. And I've been impressed with him. It's always Galatasaray and Fenerbahce. This year, the focus has been on Fenerbahce for Jose Mourinho for, you know, reasons whether I like it and some other people may not like it. But I think, you know, it's one of those things where they're two very different players playing in two very different leagues. But I think the way that, like Clinton said, I think we expected a few more goals from Mbappe.
Absolutely. Just some comments here. Suarez Hugo says Mbappe is far better than Osimhen in terms of speed. Technical ability, awareness, he is better than Osimhen any day. Clinton, any response to that?
I would probably not agree with everything the person has said there. I feel like, yeah, when it comes to speed, you cannot take it away from Mbappe. Mm-hmm. Mbappe definitely should be competing in 100-meter races in the Olympics. In fact, if he wasn't playing football, I'm sure his parents would have put him on that part of football. Technical ability, I think I will still give that to Victor Osimhen because you could clearly tell that he has the ball brain. You know, when you see... I've seen Victor Osimhen lay some kind of passes where I would not imagine a striker, you know, who does not really spend much time on the ball distributing. I've seen Osimhen do it even with the Nigerian team. You would see that he's the kind of person that understands positioning as well. He takes his opportunities. You want to talk about him on the air. Like, there's so much attributes you can even give to Osimhen that you cannot probably even give to Mbappe, which is why I would support what Alex said about both of them being two different players and, you know, executing different level of play on the pitch, right? So, but for me, yeah, speed, give it. But when it comes, when you even talk about awareness, come on, man. If you want it, listen, you cannot, right now, you cannot even put Mbappe on that awareness horizon. Why? Because we've seen a game where Mbappe has been put on the number 9, yeah? Now, all you have to do is to wait for people to supply you with the ball, right? But because of how much he wants the ball that he's not getting, he's left the number 9, dropping down to midfield to come find the ball. When the likes of, say, Valverde or maybe Modric or somebody has the ball, there's no Mbappe to supply. Sometimes you see Vinicius running with the ball. There's nobody waiting there. It's because the awareness. But the thing you will get with Victor Osimhen is Victor Osimhen would always be in that 18-yard box, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
What betide you if it's a ball that's coming from the air? My man will use his head and he will score. I mean, how many times do we see Kylian Mbappe scoring head goals, though? At the end of the day, it comes with height and it comes with some high level of abilities. Like, you only find people like Cristiano Ronaldo, Haaland, Victor Osimhen. But no, when you talk about playing the ball around, yes, give it to Kylian Mbappe.
Markande says, check the EAFC 25 ratings. I just did. Mbappe's 91 and Osimhen is 87. I don't really think that means too much. It's not really that far.
To be honest, I mean, even the players will tell you that a lot of other things are just.
We're talking about a video game. Yeah, we're not going to take it seriously.
Well, nobody says it's a video game. That's the thing. But I mean,
I've seen to him what a video game.
No, I've seen players actually come online on video game actually arguing their. No, come on, they do it. I thought I saw Victor Boniface.
Stop. No, don't do that. Don't air him. Do not air him.
No, but listen, but it's in a good way though. For me, I feel like they're just having fun. You know, it was just that whole thing of them saying, FIFA, what did you do? What do you mean?
Their reaction.
All this great, their reaction to you.
That is
you know what I mean? They were arguing.
You meant they were like playing and being like, I'm better than this. All right, before we go, fun little segment I'm going to start doing on Thursdays before our weekend ahead. What game are you guys looking forward to the most this coming weekend and why? Alex, we'll start with you.
So, good question. I'm going to go with Manchester City versus Tottenham.
Because?
Man City, 4 games in a row losing. It's their title to get back. Obviously 4 times champions, 4 in a row. Liverpool seem to be the informed team in the Premier League this season. Can Spurs be consistent, or will they be inconsistent and go back to that? 1 week playing well, next week not playing very well. So yeah, I think that's the game I'm most looking forward to, just because of the ramifications it has on the Premier League.
Yeah, fair enough. Clinton, same question.
The one I'm actually looking forward to, just speaking about, I think I want to see Arsenal and Nottingham Forest. Honestly, I feel like I want to see a shocker. I want to see, because I feel...
Peace. I want
I don't want peace. I want I'm not a preacher of love. Oh, man.
So you want to see Arsenal and Nottingham Forest because you're hoping for a Forest win and to cause some chaos?
Oh, no, absolutely. I just know that there's going to be something very dramatic going on in that game. It's either Arsenal, they will be beating Nottingham Forest, like they will beat them like kids. They will beat them like you don't belong to this top 4. Get the hell out of where you've been, which is the relegation zone or the last, say, 5 teams, below. But if Nottingham Forest would be winning, they're going to be humiliating Arsenal. And it's going to be one of those where Arsenal fans will be granting some useless type of interviews online just to kind of like hide their shame, because this is what they do, But yeah, I'm just looking forward to the shocker.
All right, well, let's see what happens. And if that does happen, let's see if Gary shows up to the show. We will be back, guys, on Monday looking at everything that's happened over the weekend. What will happen with Arsenal? What will happen with Amorim? What will happen with Mbappe? Let's find out.
By the way, how long do we have more here?
We're done.
We're done?
I'm ending the show. I'm literally ending the show right now.
Wow.
And until then, enjoy the football.
And where? Titi. Boof.
Are you joking?